be in effect for that coming year, along with a whole new set of Maryland State high school standards. So I thought about it. 30 seconds later, I said, sure, I'll do it. Never turn down a challenge, guys. Never turn down a challenge, especially when it comes to the type of kids you're going to teach, okay? I knew that getting the kids to pass the content was no big deal. I knew my material inside and out. I also knew that I was a good teacher, okay? That is what I signed up for, to teach, to help all kids learn. I was there. I knew I could do it. I had a really good track record, okay? But let me tell you what I didn't sign up for. There's a young man named Jason. He was a senior in high school and he hated school. He hated teachers, he hated anybody with authority. And it was on a regular basis that I would go home from teaching that class and I would have very, very late nights, sometimes not sleeping at all, where I would try to figure out how do I get those students motivated and engaged, one, and two, how do I turn this around for Jason? In Jason, I saw things that I didn't see in very many other students, and that was his tactile mechanical skills. Things that he could build and put together while he was sitting in my class, trying to tune me out. Things that he could build out of pencils and paper clips and paper, and then throw them at the teacher. But it was my job to try and figure out how to channel that energy, okay? Try to get him to see the value in who he was. So halfway through the semester, I came up with this grand idea. Instead of worrying about parent conferences twice a year and only calling home when something bad happens, I decided to send a letter home to all the students in that class, a personal letter for each one of them, sharing with them what they'd accomplished so far. A week later, I got a phone call from Jason's mom, and she was in tears. And she said, I need to come in and see you. Okay. Now I'm dreading. I'm sweating. I get the guidance counselor, I get the principal, we're all sitting there. And in comes Jason's mom, and she says, do you have Kleenex? And I'm, oh no, this is not what I signed up for. And she sat down and she said, in 12 years, I've never gotten a positive letter, phone call, or anything from one of Jason's teachers. And I can't tell you what it means to me to have something to hang on my refrigerator. And there, and all of my frustration of trying to figure out how to balance all of the demands that were coming down on teachers from the state, the mission was obvious. I was there for the kids, help them navigate how to get through and be successful, not just at school, but afterwards. So Jason went on to become a sergeant in the Marine Corps, where he eventually had an honorable discharge after 10 years, and now he's a very successful Maryland State Trooper with 3 children, and 2 of which who were featured on America's Funniest Home Videos last week, doing their own little role play of being a drill sergeant. And he's doing very well. Late last year, when I was preparing to come back to work, I received an email from a former student, different student, who also happened to be one of my basketball players. She had no idea that I was sitting there in my living room, stressing, really having anxiety attacks about going back to work. How do I navigate the future? How do I navigate all the things that are happening? Because my mission is still obvious. You're my students. How do I get you through and then help you to stay the course? Be successful with what are things that you may not be able to control instantaneously. How do I help you become successful, get tenure, stay in the job that you like? But also, I was also navigating the slippery slope of Race to the Top, which came into play while I was out on sick leave. It was interesting. Janet's letter went something like this. She graduated, by the way, in 2000. How was Hawaii? I'm back in Port Deposit and I teach social studies now at Northeast Middle School. I coach the field hockey team and I chase my 2 boys around. As a coach, I now look back at basketball and want to thank you for all the inspiration you gave to us as young girls. I try to use that when I'm out there with those girls to show them that they have a future, and through sports and school, they can become very successful. We now have a handful of girls that play in college, and it has come full circle for me to see the impact good role models like you can set. So thanks. Out of the blue, I have not heard from Janet since her second year of college. With that short email, I was reminded that my strong dedication to success of the whole child is really important. Yes, we're told about academics. Yes, we're told about standards. But we have to remember that children have a body, mind, and spirit. So do we. And so, being that my mission is to focus on that body, mind, and spirit, I again am faced with sleepless nights of how do I get through this? How do I do the right thing? And I'm reminded of the years of many, many tears of joy and tears of sadness when my own students would be going through life-changing events. And then so many reasons why I still wanted to be a teacher. And then I found myself remembering that it's my job. It's my job that has become my life. It's what sustains me every day. I'm one of the lucky ones. I got to choose to be a teacher twice. Once when I was way little, and then once after I had a life-saving stem cell transplant. I had the choice, and I got to come back here and be a teacher. We don't always agree with the constraints of our daily jobs, but if we remember what our passion is, if we remember our teacher voices, which is really important, because you guys are just starting to form that voice. If you remember that you can be creative